Morning, guys. Nice to see some of you joining us out there this morning for this morning's ToolBox Member Spotlight. I'll explain what all that is about in a minute, but just before I do, let me just ask you, if you're sitting out there at the moment watching this and you haven't yet jumped in to say hello or good morning, then please don't be rude. Jump in, say hello, let us know that you are out there. I can actually see the comments coming up on screen at the moment. So if you comment hello or good morning or how are you or whatever, then I will be able to see it. Likewise, if you have any questions throughout the course of the, I think about 45 minutes that we're going to be with you this morning, if you have any questions for either myself or Luke, then please do jump in and ask those questions. So for those of you who don't know, this is a ToolBox Member Spotlight. So I guess it's best to start by, first of all, explaining what the toolbox is. My Electricians Toolbox is a community of electricians, all working and striving towards growing and developing their business using specific marketing tactics that we teach called the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint. Now, the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint is a 6-step system, which very simply, if applied in your business, will help you to grow your business in your local community. It is developed around local marketing and specifically for electricians, but of course works for anybody who's in that service sector that is dealing directly with the end user customers, the homeowner, the letting agent, the landlord, and so on and so forth. So that's a little bit about my Electricians Toolbox, the actual community. Within the community, our members call themselves Toolboxers. Not a name I gave them, one that just originated through the course of the development of the toolbox. We've been in existence now for just a little over 11 years, and the membership at the moment stands somewhere in the region of about 314 members all across the UK. So every now and again, we try and do it on a monthly basis. It doesn't happen every month for various reasons. Either we're running events or there's leave or holidays or whatever, but we try on a monthly basis to spotlight one of our members. That is, bring them onto a brief interview like this and give them an opportunity to tell you guys a little bit about themselves and about their journey in the industry. So today we have with us Mr. Luke Jones. Sorry if I'm stumbling here, it's because I'm the presenter and producer here, so I'm pressing the buttons on my own, okay? So you'll excuse me if occasionally you see the bald patch of my head as I'm looking at the monitor over here, and then also the side of my face if I'm scrambling to find out where my mouse has gone. So bear with me for just 1 second, and I will bring up Mr. Jones. We'll get Luke in on the show. So what I'd like you to do first and foremost is give Luke a big toolbox welcome, and we do that in the toolbox by clicking on the thumbs up and the heart button. So if you just keep on pushing that, and welcome Luke into the presentation. And while you're doing that, I'm going to turn off that scrolling banner. Right. Good morning, Luke.
Morning. How are you? Right?
Yeah, all good. Your volume's just a little bit low. I don't know if you can move a little closer to the mic. That might work. We all good? No, lost you completely now. No audio at all now. Oh, I don't know what happened. All good. The joys of technology, eh? There we go. Sounds like we have you. Right. While you're organising that, let's say good morning. Let's say good morning to a few people, first of all. We got Tim Lawson, Robert Bonham has joined us. Steve Oakey, one of our admin team, is out there. Wilts MV. Wilts MV, good morning to you. Sean Eldridge, great to see you out there. Ollie Miller, nice to have you with us. We have Zirak Suleiman, I think I pronounced that correctly. I hope I did. Apologies if I didn't. Tom Stanners, Lek is with us as well. As I mentioned, Robert Bonham already. And Mike Bulger has joined us. I know that there are others out there who haven't yet jumped in to say hello. So please do. Right. Are you now soundly with us, Luke?
Should be fine now.
Yeah, good. We can definitely hear you now. So I think the best way to kick this off, if you like, is if you tell us a little bit about your sort of history, your backstory. Who was young Luke, and what possessed young Luke to get into the electrical industry? So where did you grow up? What's the schooling background? What was it that led you into this industry?
So from Leicestershire, it kind of was a bit of a fluke the way I got into it. I was at college. I was playing rugby. That was my dream, to play rugby professionally. I'd played for England and the schoolboys and was in Leicester Tigers and everything. It was going good. Had an injury or so. And while I was at college, one of the teachers had a brother-in-law that was an electrician. And he allowed me to kind of do all my training in the evenings and days off and things like that. So it worked well at the start. So I just fell into it, did my apprenticeship with them, started to take up that bit more seriously, and just went into it like that. I was working for them for about 15 years, it turned out to be. And they kind of did mainly compliance and commercial maintenance, and it was install at the start, and then they kind of got council contracts and things like that. So it was fairly varied.
So with the variety, what did you discover was your sort of favorite element of what you were doing?
So I liked doing 5, 6, 7 jobs a day. I liked the rush of moving around to different things. So breakdowns, fault finding, that sort of thing. And then later I kind of ran and did FM work. So sort of compliance stuff, really. So a mixture of them two things. That's what I kind of mainly did and what I enjoyed.
Okay, so I guess coming towards the end of your employment, what was it? Or did you move from there to another company, or was it from there that you decided to start your own business?
Yeah. So it was from there. So I stayed with one company all the way from like 20 when I started, all the way up to sort of 16 months ago when I first jumped. And yeah, we just stayed with one company, and it was good. It was the old, they paid me just enough to keep me there.
Yeah, and eventually the dream took hold, did it?
Yeah. So it's something I was thinking about for a while. I joined the Toolbox about nearly a year before I jumped. But yeah, just work through things in that helped me sort of get the confidence to do it.
Okay, so what was it? I mean, if we go back to, obviously you've served your time, you've qualified, you've been working with this company for a while. Many people have their story about what possessed them to start working. Some of them is because they got pissed off with their old employer. Some of it was because they had ambitions of growing a big business. Some of it was because they thought they could do things better than their previous employer. What was it that sort of kicked in with you? What was the I guess the moment or the impetus that made you think, I'm going to do this myself. I'm not going to be employed. I'm going to set my own business up. What was going on at that point?
So a mixture of all of them things you kind of said. It got to the point where the people that were running you or your day or things weren't really on the ball, and you were doing it better, or you felt you could do it better, and then you ended up running it yourself, and you were thinking that other than actually getting the work, you go out, you quote it, you do the work, you do all the paperwork. What's stopping me, sort of thing? And it was just a penny drop moment of maybe I should do this on my own. It would, and then the freedom as well, that I thought that it would give you, but you end up working just as much, if not harder. So that's an illusion. But it's still, on a whole, so much better. Yeah, it kind of came about a little bit by, not forced, but I kind of had a couple of health issues that put me out for sort of 9 months. I had a slip disc. I've recently had surgery at Christmas and it was all sorted. But in that time, I kind of had my job open, went back to it, and then I wasn't really 100%. So I thought, well, I can probably manage my workload better. So I went and just did it. And to be fair, it was probably a little blessing in disguise, because it probably pushed me a little bit more than, or quicker than I would have done. So yeah, things work out for a reason.
Yeah, and I think for you, I mean, there was an element of pre-planning as well, in the sense that most people are either forced into the situation and then they have to do something, as in they lose a job and then they end up having to start out on their own, which they were sort of planning to do, but they've been forced into it because they lost the job. Or they just take the jump and they decide, I'm fed up enough, I'm just going to go and take the jump and do it. But for you, I think, as you said, some months before you actually decided to go on your own, you were planning it. And you, I guess unusually, you subscribed to the ToolBox, which is a platform for helping you to grow a business, before you actually started working on your own. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. So it was around lockdown where I kind of started doing jobs on the side, just because I had more free time, because no one was doing anything. And that probably also put the little sort of thought in my head. So I kind of was doing that after work, going and doing 1, 2, 3 jobs after work. Like you said, I do like to plan before I jump to an extent. So yeah, I did join the ToolBox just to sort of, you're trained to be an electrician, but you're not trained about any of the business side when you come out of an apprenticeship, or when you're in the business of someone else's business. So I thought it was silly just to jump without knowing what it was. So I did as much sort of background and sort of planning as you could before I did it. Yeah, for about a year, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of information out there on the internet, as far as, I guess, starting or developing a business. I mean, what you said is 100% correct. There is nowhere, and this is something I've been saying for years, and it's possibly the reason that the ToolBox actually exists, is that there is nowhere along the whole of the apprenticeship route, or even the short skilled route, the electricians as a second career route. There is nowhere along any of those where they actually teach the how to get and keep customers, how to actually make a business out of what it is you do. And the emphasis from many of the training organizations seems to be on the skill sets. And it seems that they believe the more skilled you are, the better business you're going to have. And that's not necessarily the truth, is it? I mean, of course, you've got to have a certain level of skill. Of course, you've got to be good at what you do. But just being, inverted commas, a better electrician isn't going to get you work, which, for me, again, it comes to one of these annoying things that people always say, is that, word of mouth is all you need. If you're good enough at what you do, son, you'll never have to advertise. Yeah. An absolute fallacy and a lie perpetrated by a lot of older people in our community, people around my age group, who back in the day, that was right. Word of mouth was what you needed. But nowadays, it's not so true. You need to actually promote yourself and advertise yourself, and actually get that word of mouth working for you. So right, you found the ToolBox. You did some, I guess, due diligence and some searching online. What was it about, apart from all of the other training that you could have accessed online, what was it that drew you to the ToolBox?
I'm fairly methodical, so I like the way it was structured into sort of little compartments, so you could work through it at your own pace. There you go. You could work through it at your own pace. I didn't know about. I forgot about that, Jaws. But yeah, so you could work through it at your own pace. If you were struggling on something, maybe it was what to charge, where to advertise, things like that. It's all segmented. So I don't want to say the word, but it's fairly idiot-proof because you can just work through the steps and then feel like you're getting sort of a rounded idea of what it's all about, working for yourself and how to get customers and how to keep them and all the little extras that make you stand out and be a bit more professional than the next guy.
Okay, we'll come back to the toolbox in a few minutes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, because it would be a lie to say that I'm not interested in letting other people know a bit more about the toolbox. But let's talk about you and your journey. So going back to, you've been in business now for yourself for, you say, about 18 months, there or thereabouts, and you were employed.
Yeah, about 16 months I've been going. 16
months. Okay. So let's include then the time that you were employed as well. What was the most memorable customer that you've had to deal with? And that can be serious, funny, whatever. What's the most memorable person you've had to deal with?
The most memorable in a positive way, I would say, is a customer I have now that I regularly service, who I've got a contract with, and they basically don't want anyone else on the premises. And they basically say that to me. And it's a nice feeling when someone, says, "You're our electrician." Like, that's positive when you get that. But yeah, other than that, I just like meeting lots of different people, and I just enjoy seeing different people's backgrounds and going into people's houses and places, and yeah, it's a nice industry. I like it.
No 2 days are the same. As long as you're sort of, as you say, you're doing bits and pieces of stuff all day long in different places, and you're moving. So it's the part of the job that I actually loved as well. I couldn't get on with being in the same place for like 6, 7, 8 days at a time, let alone for people who are there for 3, 4, 5 months at a time. It just wouldn't work for me. But I do like sort of moving around and meeting different people and experiencing different things and having different challenges every day. I think it makes the domestic sector quite interesting. So what was your funniest experience?
My funniest experience. I would say when I worked for my previous company, we worked for a massive builder at his actual house, one of the big boys, and we had to wire up his chiller unit. And I was fairly young, and the guy I was working with just said, "Oh, just go in there and see the route of the cable." And I opened this chiller, and there was probably like 300-400 just game birds just hung up. I'd say that was a bit of an experience. I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be empty, or I didn't really know what we were doing. And that put me back a little bit. I'd say that was quite funny.
Bit of a shock. I mean, we've had somebody on previously who arrived home, and they had a like an old style traditional tool bag, and when they actually got home, we were finished for the day and putting stuff away, and opened up the tool bag, and there was a set of teeth in the bag.
Right?
Wasn't there teeth? So some customer somewhere along the line has lost a set of teeth. But that would be a little bit interesting.
I don't tend to have many of them funny ones.
But they happen, and it can be interesting when they can. All right, let's talk marketing again. So what would you say was your most successful marketing campaign, and why?
I think you have to do a bit of everything for things to work, but the most noticeable one, I would say, to get the phone ringing, at least, if that's something that needs to be done, is magazine adverts in local papers. They're really good, and bulk in volume, done in volume leaflets. They're the two I would say that get the phone ringing the most, that you notice when it goes out. You can always know when you've done leaflets or when you've done adverts when they come around in magazines and things. I'd say they're the two biggest drivers of your phone ringing if you do it right and in volume. And
what we call the sort of low-hanging fruit. I said good morning to Luke Sedge. Dave Harrison has joined as well. Stephen Garfit. Go on, getting pronunciations wrong here. As well, and also Mike Rowe. Great to see you guys out there this morning. But yeah, I think a lot of people sort of, number one, underestimate, but also get it completely wrong. Both of those things you spoke about. I mean, leaflet advertising and magazine advertising. A lot of people who set up in business on their own will say they've tried it and got nothing from it. In fact, many people say that about many sorts of marketing and advertising strategies. Because again, you get the same with people saying things about Facebook. Oh, you never get any work off of Facebook. There's only price shoppers on Facebook. The issue is with any of these strategies, when they're done correctly, they work really well. And it's when they're done very badly that people, it's a cost and it's a waste of money when it's done badly. But when they're done well, they particularly the leaflets, they can be like a broken one-armed bandit, really, in the sense that, you know, you put £1 in, you pull the lever, and it automatically gives you £10 back. Well, you just keep putting that £1 in, wouldn't you, and keep getting that £10 back. And leaflets can be a bit like that. It is, as you said, it is a numbers game. It's about volume. It's about getting them out there. But it's also about how they're delivered and the way that they're designed as well. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And I've had some people might think, well, I don't want to do that sort of work. But at the start, I kind of went for the approach of, yes, I come from commercial. That's where I want to be. I've got a few contacts. I've got a few contracts doing that. But to get more of that and move over to that quite in volume, I've got some of my best commercial customers from working in their house. So like a very good factory that I work for, that I've done a lot of trade with in the last sort of 16 months, came from me putting a light up in her house. And then her son had a business that is quite profitable for me. So I kind of have gone for the approach of, if you are starting off and you want the bigger stuff, I kind of have to accept that these places are harder to get into, but there is someone in a house that is a project manager or a maintenance manager of somewhere in a business. So I've gone for the approach of service as many people as you can, because you don't know what that will lead on to. So yeah, leaflets have been good for that, because you get in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, and a really clever and good observation there as well. Morning, Frank. Frank O'Toole has joined us as well. But the clever observation there is that when people start out and they want to do commercial or industrial, they target the entity. They go, oh, I want a load of this type of work. But what they forget is that there's people behind those entities. And you know, your approach to targeting the homeowners, these are the people that are working in these organizations. These are the people that are working in these factories, in these offices. And they're the ones that can open up the doors for you. Morning, Tony. Tony Shirley has joined as well. So yeah, good observation. All right, so that's been your best. Sorry, go on.
No, just people always ask, oh, what have you been doing today? And I throw it out always as like, oh yeah, we mainly do commercial work, but we also do these little stuff as well. just to see what they do, and then you always have a little chat with them. Or what do you do? So yeah, I try and look for that opportunity to talk to them as much as I can to find out what they do, because then you can obviously offer it and look out for the work you kind of want.
Yeah, and I guess that goes back to the old adage as well. What was his name? Regis McKenna. So everything is marketing, and marketing is everything. So the opportunity to get in front of somebody and talk about what you do, every time you do it, you're opening up doors, or you should be opening up doors for something else. So having those conversations with customers and letting them know what you do and what type of stuff you're available to do, sort of allows them then to make a judgment call or a decision about what else they could have for you, what else they could use you for. I think the big problem with that is many tradesmen get too sort of mono-focused, and they're interested in get the job done, and move on to the next job. And they don't think beyond, well, what else is there here? What else? How can I build this relationship? Which again is a big part of what we do with the steps in the toolbox. One of the components is about building those relationships and having those relationships with your customers. That helps to lead into other things, whether that is additional work or testimonials or references. Your job basically is to build a relationship with the customer so that at some point they become an evangelist for you. And an evangelist is a person who will talk about your business even when you're not around, and they'll do it gladly and willingly because they have that relationship with you. Cool. Okay, so outside of work, what kind of hobbies and interests do you have?
Big into my sports, so rugby, football, badminton, into my gym now. I can get back into that now. I'm all okay. And yeah, massive into my sports. So that takes a lot of my time up. And yeah, all the subscription packages that apparently I don't need, I've got all the sport ones.
So you're the one that actually does use your gym subscription, yeah?
I do, yeah. I'm back into it now. Yeah, it helps that there's a sauna and a steam room there. That does entice you a little bit at the end of the day. Some of the sessions are a little bit shorter than they probably should be sometimes, especially on a Monday. But yeah, I'm into that. Excellent.
So what's a typical work day look like for Luke? What's a typical?
So I get up fairly early. So I often start at 6, half 6. I'm in some of like schools and things I work through early before all they're in. So I'm in them about 2 to 3 times a week. I'm in them. So I get up, go and do that. I always have a list of what I want to do for that day that I do the night before, just so that when I'm in zombie mode in the morning, I know what I'm doing. And then it depends really of what I've got. I use ServiceMate, so I kind of just open that up. I've got a VA, so often it looks like I'm employed because I don't often know what I'm doing before I have a look. But yeah, it works well for me. I like to be organised. I like my diary to be sort of organised to a point where I know what I'm doing personally and in work, so nothing clashes, so you don't get that sort of crossover. And then just go out in the van, often just jobbing towards the end of the day. I'll try and get like projects. There's a subby that works with me, so I'll try and sort him out in the mornings to do the bigger projects, and then I'll do all the little naggy stuff.
Pretty good. There's a couple of things you mentioned there that some people may not be aware of. Some people watching it, I mean, a lot of people will be, but there's some people that will not be, and particularly if they're sort of starting out on their own. But they're interesting in the sense that they do help the smooth running of a business. And if you're not aware of them, or if you've only heard about them, you might be hesitant in terms of using them. One of them was the thing called ServiceMate that you mentioned, which we know it's a piece of job management software. Which helps the smooth running of your day. It helps you to sort of prepare your quotes and your invoices and manage your job, your workflow, and so on and so forth. So I'm just clarifying that for people who may not have heard of it. And I think the good thing to understand is that if you're starting out on your own and you think that you're saving money by using the likes of Word and Excel and stuff like that, rather than going to the expense of having a piece of software like that, you're probably fooling yourself, because something like that will smooth the journey and make your life so much easier. And it's an investment in your business rather than a cost in your business. And I think I'd probably go as far as to say it's the very same thing with a VA as well. Now, a VA, for those who don't know, is a virtual assistant. And they come in many different guises. There are some that will simply answer the phone for you. There are some that will answer the phone and do diary appointments for you. There are some that will actually prepare your quotations, like the Rewired, a firm called Rewired, Dan McAdam, who will actually prepare your quotations and everything for you as well. And I think at different levels of a business, it's worth investigating different types of VAs, because even simply having somebody answering your phone for you and taking messages means that you can get on with the rest of your day, correct? And that way, then you're not having to clamber out of a loft and find a piece of paper and then forget to call somebody back and so on and so forth. And it just makes life more professional and smooth. And although you might think to yourself, oh, I couldn't possibly afford the cost of a VA, or I couldn't possibly afford the subscription to something like ServiceMate, these things will make you money. They will save you money and they will make you money ultimately. Sorry, your comments on that?
Yeah, totally agree with you. At the start, when I hadn't quite learned about these like little tools and things, I was doing the same. I was on Excel, I was on Word, and I had a diary from the wholesaler where I put all my jobs in, costing and everything. And it's great up to a point where you get busy. So you have to, and then once you get busy, it's a problem. Whereas if you put it in first, it does build naturally. The two biggest things I genuinely think that have kind of made my life easier and I think more professionally, and probably got me there a lot quicker in a business doing okay, is ServiceMate or any old job management package. So, for example, I had last week a customer come back to me 12 months later about a quote. I could bring it all up. Everything was there. You can just go straight from there. There's no looking around for it. And then that's really good for people with bad memories like me. And then a VA. At the start, I did think this is an expense. I'll try and do a little bit to keep the cost down. But now it's got to a point where I don't want to do anything. I don't want to answer the phone.
Just want to go up beyond the tools.
Yeah, I love the customers that want to book you and not mess you around. I'm great with them. Customer service to the hills with them, but I don't like answering the phone to people, to kicking tires and asking for things. So I'm more than happy for that to happen, and then my diary to be full via them. And I think it's more of a professional service, because for example, when I didn't have it, or the odd occasion where I've not turned it on, because you can have your phone calls diverted to these people, and sometimes I forget to turn it on, and I've had to take a call while I'm in a loft or working with a customer. Sorry, 1 second, I just need to take this call. It really doesn't look professional. And at the point now where I'm getting multiple calls a day, I just couldn't take them, and that's money you're leaving on the table, so it pays for itself. So just get these two things. It will really projectile.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate. People do say, oh, I can't afford it, and they don't realize beyond what they're actually, for the sake of what the cost is, what they're actually losing and what they could potentially be making. I'm going to ask the question. I think I know the answer, but are you aware that we now have the ToolBox Business Dashboard in beta testing? Were you aware of that?
No, Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it was. Yes.
So for those who don't know, and I don't want to make a comparison, but for those who are using tools like Tradeify or ServiceMate, we have developed our own, the S.P.A.R.K.S Business Dashboard, and it's been in sort of development now for about 8 months, thereabouts, and it's in beta testing at the moment, due to be released in about two weeks. And that's a full functioning software that will help all of the job management, the invoicing, the quotations, and it will handle a large part of the marketing function as well when it comes to email, SMS, Facebook posting, and so on and so forth as well. So it's a really cool piece of software that is going to be free to Toolbox members. So that's in beta testing. Anyway, enough about me. If you weren't an electrician today, what would you do? What would you be doing if you were not an electrician?
Ooh, good question. I know this is going to sound unpopular, but I really, really like property. So I'd probably be like a estate agent or something. Something where you're out and about meeting people, not in an office. No. Yeah, probably something like that.
Okay, something to do with property. Interesting. I thought for a minute you were going to say a politician, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right, cool. If you had the opportunity, and I'll say this slowly because I know that there is a time delay, but if you had the opportunity to go back and tell 17-year-old Luke something, what would you tell him?
Don't procrastinate. Don't overplan. And just do things faster, if that makes sense. Yeah. Burn the boats and go for it.
Yeah, done is better than perfect, yeah?
Yeah, that sums it up better.
All right, we're going to wrap up very shortly, but before we do, what's the proudest moment of your life so far? And I know it's early days. What are you, about 33, something like that? So
35.
You've still got
proudest
a long way
moment of my day. Other than my wedding day, because I can see her looking in the background. Yeah, other than that, I would say either in my earlier days in my rugby, so sort of playing for England, or having the balls to go and work for myself. I'd say I was proud of myself to a point with that. Yeah, I'd say one of them two moments.
Okay, a little bit of a throwaway comment there. Playing for England?
At schoolboy level, yeah, England rugby and things.
Okay, so you played for the country at schoolboy level?
Yeah, under 16s and 18s. Yeah.
All right, cool, very good. Okay, final question from me. Then I'm going to tell the audience a little bit about the toolbox. But I would really like to know. Bear with me 1 second. What's going on here?
That's at Loch Ness. Yeah, that's at Loch Ness. I really like Scotland. Sorry,
I said it looks like you're about to strangle Nessie. What's going on?
I think I was just jumping between some stones. That's all. Just didn't want to get my nice shoes wet, probably. Where's that from, anyway?
Say again?
Where's that from? Instagram?
Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Facebook. Grabbed it off of Facebook. Kieran Tenner, David Gallion, nice to see you joining us there. I think, did I say hello to Blade Pierce and Amno? No, I'm not sure I did. Nice to see you guys out there. You may have to watch this on replay. By the way, if anybody is watching it on replay, please do hashtag replay. Give us an indication of of how it's going. And before I let Luke go, and there is a bit of a time delay, guys. So if you have any questions for Luke right now, get your questions in. You've got a couple of seconds before we go. And while you're doing that, what I'm going to do is tell you guys just a little bit about the toolbox, for those of you who don't know anything about it. I think I mentioned it at the beginning. It is a community of like-minded electricians who are all there for one specific goal, which is to grow their own business, but they're also helping one another to grow their businesses as well. So it is a really good and really safe community. If you want more information on it, you can go to jada1.com/toolbox to find out a little bit more about it. It is the only resource like it in the UK. It was built by an electrician, myself, for electricians, just like you. It is very marketing based, but it also does a lot of work around mindset, around money management, and so on and so forth as well. So it's a full functioning. And again, we offer a number of different things to our members. There are over 600 training videos inside of the member area. There's well over 600 now. There's a lot of templates that you can actually use. We offer software for various different functions. As I said, the latest one that is in beta testing at the moment is a full function job management software, which people in different circles, they're paying anything between £50 a month to £1,000 a month for a very similar piece of software. And it's full functional. It helps you to do your quotes. It helps you to do your invoicing, manage your customer history. It will do the Facebook posting, email posting, huge amount of stuff. Huge amount of stuff. We've got live and online training. So we actually have regular meetups. Twice a year, the members will meet for member only training. And then twice a year, we do open public trainings as well. We have a Q&A every Monday evening where members come along and have their questions answered. We have a Wednesday morning training every Wednesday where we delve down into one of the areas of the 6 steps that are the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint. And we go deeper into each of the levels so that people understand how to do their marketing and customer development within their business. What else can I tell you about it? It is a community, as I said, of like-minded electricians all helping one another. If you are interested in having a look at it, we offer a 100% money-back guarantee. The subscription fee is £97 a month. It is minuscule in comparison to what you can get from it. If you were to get like one extra job a month, you've covered your cost. Many of our members increase their pricing within the first 3 weeks of joining, and certainly within the first month of joining, they're in profit. They're getting into profit. Many of our members actually start to get time back. So for those of you who are working 7-8 hours a day and then going home and doing 3 hours of paperwork and admin work, many of our members tend to get their time back and start to have a life and a family, time with their family as well. As I said, if you're interested, have a look at jada1.com/toolbox. There is a 100% money back guarantee. If you try it and it's not for you, I guarantee you guys, we do not harass you to stay. I don't believe I've got anybody out there on the internet who has a bad thing to say about what we actually do. And we've been doing this now for 11 years. If somebody decides it's not for them, then I'm more than happily within the first month to refund their investment. No harm and no foul. I will ask what I could have done to make it better, but I'm not going to try and pressurize anybody into staying. As I say, it's marketing training like no other in the industry, because there isn't any other in the industry. We give our members free websites, including the hosting. So if you're paying for a website to be built, you're wasting money. If you're paying month after month for a website to be hosted, you're wasting money. We also provide free email accounts. Many other organizations, if you buy a website from them or if you buy web hosting from them, they will also charge you on top for emails, and they'll charge you for each subsequent email. With the toolbox as part of your domain, you get as many emails as you want. So if you want James@Kent Electrics, or info@Kent Electrics, or sales@Kent Electrics, or Mary@Kent Electrics, whatever it is you want email wise, you will get as part of your package. You get a free one-to-one coaching session with me. That's an hour-long session where we can delve down into any issue or problem you have in your business. We have a gift box set over here on the shelf. I'm not going to lift it over now, but there's a gift box over here in which you get mug, t-shirt, stickers, booklets, a few other bits and pieces in there as well. And of course, soon to be released within the next 2 weeks is our job management software, which is the S.P.A.R.K.S Business Dashboard. So that's quickly about the toolbox. If you're interested, as I say, go to jada1.com/toolbox. Right. Is there, I've just seen the note from Tony Shirley. He said he never did get his gift box. Tony, send me an email separate to this, mate. I will make sure that gets out to you, and I will reprimand Helen. But yeah, I will, again, if any of our members are here and they haven't yet received their gift box, then please do let me know. But Tony, yeah, email me separate to this, because I genuinely, when we finish here today, I'm going out with the kids and I will have forgotten by the time I get back in. So email me separately and I'll make sure that your gift box gets out to you. Right. Do we have any questions for Luke? Robert says, question to my fellow Shepherdine. Where did the business name come from? Any Scottish roots?
Yeah, we both live in the same village. So it came from my old address. I used to live on Highland Drive. So nothing to do with Scotland, even with the red hair. Nothing to do with Scotland.
no Scottish roots. So there you go, no, Robert.
Yeah. Everyone asks about it, so I thought I'm going to keep that name.
Interesting, isn't it? After everything that we've covered, that's the question you get. Right, I think we are done for this morning. Yeah, Tony, genuinely, just send me an email. I'll make sure that gets out to you. There will be always one or two that sort of slips through the hoops. Steve Oakey, thank you very much for posting the link. If anybody is looking to just click on the link, Steve Oakey has posted a copy of the link, so you can go and have a look at that. As I said, we'd be more than happy to welcome you guys in as members of the Toolbox. Come and have a look. It's going to cost you, nothing to have a look for a month. If you decide that it's not for you, then, no harm, no foul. With that said, Luke, I'm going to say thank you very much for your time this morning. I'm going to ask everybody out there to give me some thumbs, hearts, and smiley faces as a thank you to you, sir. I look forward to working with you continually over the coming months and years that you're going to remain with us in the Toolbox, and look forward to seeing much, much more success in your business during that time as well. Thank you for your time this morning, mate. Cheers. And thank you, everybody, for everybody who joined us this morning. And if you're watching this on replay, please do #replay. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the remainder of your weekend. Take it easy. Bye.